But yeah, we got one more thing to talk. We got this Dominion show. Did you guys get the chance to check this show out?
Did I ever?
You
Yeah.
probably watched from start to finish.
Well, this is going to be a tale of two cities because I Sunday woke up, told the family, the Mongoose family, the Mongeese, all right, Mrs. Mongoose and baby Mongoose. I said, Mongeeses, we got things to do today, but Daddy's got to watch him a Dominion show. And I was able to make it through the first 2.5 hours, and then I got cut off by the rest of the day. The plan was to finish tomorrow. Didn't happen. I was able to do it today, but holy cow, man! Baby Mongoose, last day of school was today. I do not know if they just left every kid go with a shot to the arm of methamphetamine or what had happened. But dude, stuff was wild until bedtime, and so I got notes on everything up until the last three matches, which is what I was able to see today, which stinks because they were probably the three best matches. But yep, I'm here to rock, guys.
Yeah, and I was trying to make sure that I came prepared because I've been saying for a long time that I want to watch the New Japan show. So I didn't have enough time before the show to watch the whole entire show, but I started at the El Phantasmo show or match, and I made it the whole way to the end. So I saw the last four matches.
I mean, that card was excellent. It ended up being an unbelievable show, man. The build to it was interesting. I mean, look, I know I criticize, Ghetto on the show almost every week, but they're always in a state of flux. It seems like that promotion feels like they're almost always in a state of flux, and they lose people here and there, and they're a live production, live event business. They've got to get butts in the seats to make money, and that man, what a venue! I mean, for that place only holding 7,000 people for wrestling, that Osaka Joe Hall looked like it could hold 70,000 by the way that thing is constructed and the way that roof looks. So that was just a really great thing. But the thing too that I want to talk about, the first time it ever really hit me was, I mean, how much better is their system where they value more so the number of defenses versus the length of the reign.
Yeah, yeah, I think that is really important, and especially whenever you want to juxtapose that with my biggest complaints from the bloodline thing. I bend the knee to you, dude. Especially this past SmackDown, I did not see the whole episode, but I did see the first 45 minutes, and that first 3-ish minutes of SmackDown where they were able to go timeline through and show you everybody Roman's eclipse. Dude, that was masterful. Yeah, it was mastery, man. But the fact that in New Japan, and the funny thing about that is that I recall whenever Okada had eclipsed 10 defenses, that it was a huge deal as the world champion. And so, yeah, dude, like I think to me that this just goes to show the difference between Japanese and American production, because I was watching the show and Mrs. Mongoose is like, basically like this feels different. And I was like, oh yeah, well, this is sport. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we know how the sausage is made or whatever, but like this is sport presented here. Whereas in the US, it's all pageantry and show and sports entertainment. So yeah, it's a really good point.
So jumping right into it, I mean that first match, and there's a couple matches here we don't need to really get into, but I mean that the whole thing was excellent, man. And if you haven't had a chance to sit down, I know it was a 4.5-hour show, but if you're looking to go back and watch an awesome show, this show was a lot better than what I even anticipated. I knew it was going to be a phenomenal show that they were going to put on, but they did an even better job than I even thought. But that first match, I'm not the biggest fan of Lance Archer right out of the gate, but I mean that guy looks so good when he's in there working with people who have their shit together, man. He looks so good. I mean, and Archer looked great in that match because it was because he was in there with the guy that, in my honest opinion, is the greatest wrestler in the world right now, is Will Ospreay. I mean, that guy is just, everything is just firing on all cylinders for that guy, man. And that match with Archer, he really made Archer look like $1 million. I thought that it was way better than I expected.
Yeah. So to go back to the very beginning of the show, right, where they're going through what the matches are going to be and everything, in sequential order, I had written down Kenny Omega is my favorite wrestler. Great O'Khan is my favorite wrestler. El Phantasmo is my favorite wrestler. Like as they were going through through the match card or whatever. Also, I need to say that and yeah, forgive me because I don't have it written down right in front of me, but what is it? Yoji help me with the main event here, Andre.
Yoda
Tsuji.
Thank you. So for Yoda Tsuji, I might have seen Yoda Tsuji wrestle before.
You did because he was a young line that we talked about like 5 years ago.
Okay, I was just gonna say because he was really I had no recollection of him. I didn't want to discount him. Obviously, he's in the main event here. But the first thing I wrote down was Sonata versus Japanese Jesus. Because that was like the look that I had here. Like, dude, he's glowing off the screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has a look. And I'll get into him later because I have everything in the world good to say about this guy.
Yeah.
But the fact that they started with Archer and Ospreay, I felt was very non-New Japan-ish because this is a Dynamite-ish, like an AEW-ish type start where you're starting hot. And having watched New Japan pay-per-views for the last 4 or 5 years, they are a promotion that starts from the bottom and then they build up.
Yeah, and usually you would have got like a Young Lions Battle Royal or something like that.
Yeah. And so the fact that this was first, I literally put Archer and Ospreay to start with bunch of exclamation points. The things that I need to put over here is first, Archer is so good and also a geek, and I blame his hair.
Dude,
I blame his hair,
sucks.
dude.
His hair's so bad.
I blame his hair. He's a monster. As Andretti just said, if you put him in there with somebody that can go, this guy can go to the moon. The problem is, and the reason why I think that he can't be left to trust with the rocket ship himself is, dude, that hair is so bad. It's so bad. And really so bad. Change your hair and maybe you're fine. Archer did a Leonidas kick to the outside to Ospreay, and I popped really big. Basically kicked him right into that, portal of doom. And then Archer hit a Spanish fly. It got cut off, was awesome. And then the other thing here is that I have written again, he's so great and he is bad. And the reason why is that he's presented so poorly by every promotion. And I feel like the reason why is they don't know how to present him. And it's not a him problem, but it's kind of a him problem. You know what I mean? Like if you had a better presentation for yourself.
If it's the same across the board, you're the problem.
Yeah. Like you can, people want you to be the guy. So help them help you be the guy. And then that hidden blade kick out where Archer kicked out at 1 off the hidden blade, I freaking died. But then 4 straight killer hidden blades to pin the man. I thought it was excellent, man. I did. I thought it was excellent. And then I was even more surprised because I was Will Ospreay called out Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door. And to me, Kenny wins. And Ospreay wins at Wembley.
At Wembley. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. But this was awesome. This was an awesome opener.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I like you said, man. I mean, look, I don't know what the deal was with Archer, but I mean, he's made a pretty good career for himself, just being who he is. But not everybody can be the guy, and sometimes you need somebody in there with you that is really talented that can make you look a lot better. And I think that's what people got to do with him. You got to treat that guy like that, and that's what's going to make him stand out above other people. But him on his own, carrying things, I'm not sure is the always the best option.
Yeah, and I feel bad for him too, because like he had a killer feud with Juice Robinson. He had a killer feud with John Moxley. Like these things have all happened, and he's been a common denominator. And the problem is that he just isn't guy enough. And I feel like part of the reason he's not guy enough is because he has braids that go to his butt. I hate to say that, man, but like, I don't know. To me, it's a presentation problem too. I don't know.
You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all about that. And the music is what kills it for me a little bit too.
Oh, music sucks.
Yeah. But anyway, match 2, Tai Chi, Kanemaru, Doki, and Taka Michinoku versus Bushi, Titan, Takagi, and Naito. So that was, I mean, look, the first thing that I really loved about that, man, I can't tell you how much I love that there are people who are in New Japan Pro Wrestling factions that are outside of New Japan, and the fact that like Titan is a member of LIJ and he wrestles predominantly in CMLL. Like I very much appreciate that. I like when there's some cross promotion, cross pollination between different promotions, and New Japan's really good about doing that. So I don't know, maybe they're just easy to work with other people with IP and trademarks and things like that. But I love the fact that Chris Bay and Austin, what's that guy's name? The God, I just drew a blank on that guy's name, but that guy's really good. The two guys that are in Impact that are in the Bullet Club.
Chris Bay.
Chris Bay, who's the other guy? What's his name? I forget, man.
Chris Bay's the only one I knew. I didn't know another one.
I forget.
I forget too. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that, but I love the fact that those guys are in the Bullet Club, but they exist outside of New Japan. But that's
what Ring of Honor was that way for years. Like that's what Ring of Honor was, the American sort of feeder system. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what commentator was singing, but whoever was singing the intro for Just Five Guys and making up their own lyrics. I mean, dude, that popped me to freaking Jupiter.
Five guys.
Dude, I popped to Jupiter.
Five guys. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was so funny. But look, and the thing too, like Naito taking forever to get undressed always pops me every single time. It takes him 20 minutes to get undressed for the match. It's awesome. It's weird to me too about this match, just about like the state of New Japan right now in general, that where Takagi's kind of getting treated like just another guy. And that is weird to me because I don't think he is. I think he's a main event guy. I don't know why they've kind of pushed him to the back burner a little bit on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and so I guess so is like the spin cycle essentially in what you have over there, where you have guys that get a chance to drive the ship, and if they don't do well, then you move them to a mid spot or whatever. And so at the end of the day, when Shingo was driving business, he would have been, and this isn't his fault, but this would have been pandemic era, same thing as like Evil, is that like business wasn't going well. And so let's pull these guys back and let's see what we can do with some new guys. And so because we have a new world champion and we have a fresh world championship scene, I don't have too much of an issue with that. The other thing is we have G1. So that doesn't say that Shingo doesn't either win G1 or beats Sonata in G1 and gets a championship match afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's that there. Two things that I noted for this one at the start is that Bushi taking off an entrance mask for another mask makes me really, really happy. I love when people have multiple masks on just to get started. I have Taka Michinoku. Michinoku looks better than he did in 1997. And I have that Kevin Kelly liked Doki less of a he thought he was a not a top guy, more of a party guy, and then he learned how to wrestle. And he literally said that on the commentary. that Doki was this like geekish sort of dude that learned how to work. And the fact that he said that on commentary to put over Doki, I thought was really cool. My wife also asked about why the Japanese like grunt so much. Specifically whenever Shingo was in there and, letting it fly.
Did you say that's racist?
No, well, here's what I said was that I was like, here's the thing is that it's presented more as sport. And so if I'm going to throw a hard forearm at any enemy, I'm probably going to make a sound. And so if I'm just exhaling hard, I'm working it. But if I'm every time I'm throwing a blow, then I'm putting my everything into it, which actually sort of drew her into the show a little bit more, to say that like, hey, I know it's a work, but like they're presenting this as sport, even though, I've been watching New Japan shows here in the house for the last 5 years. It was an interesting take from her to be like, why is this happening? And then for me to explain why. I love. They did the formula of heat, hot tag. I thought it was awesome. And then the finish, man, I thought the finish was awesome. That Teton tapped Taka Michinoku. Perfect guy to get the win. Perfect guy to take the fall, whatever you'd like to say. And I thought the submission was awesome. That
guy has looked so good, man. Teton. I mean, I loved him in CMLL too, and I was watching those there almost every week. But I mean, even Tai Chi has looked so much better this whole year so far than what he did, previously to that. So hats off to that guy too. But I mean, going back to Doki, I've come around on him too, I think, and I thought for sure he was going to win the Super Juniors, but he didn't. But yeah, man, the ending of that match with Teton tapping out a legend, that was a hell of a way to end that match.
And I think that Taka Michinoku is a great fit for that group, man. I really do. Like a legit guy that can always take the fall, so he's credible. That also makes your group credible. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else? Bake, did you get a chance to check that one?
No, I only saw the last four. I have nothing until the Phantasmo match.
Okay, so then the third match was Kevin Knight and Kushida versus Francisco Akira and TJP. The first, I mean, what I wrote down about that, I mean, all four of those guys are excellent, dude. They're all so good. It's two really awesome teams. Kevin Knight, man, and Francisco Akira they've got real shots to be stars in that industry for a really long time. Those guys are just phenomenal already. And they're neither one of them have been around all that long, and they both are just doing such a good job already. But I had a feeling here that they might add belts to the United Empire with Aussie Open out. I was thinking about the kind of the card layout and kind of the direction moving forward before the show on Saturday when it came on. But I kind of had a feeling they were going to flip those belts back to Akira and TJP, but I'm really interested to see where Kushida goes with this and where he ends up by Wrestle Kingdom, because I mean he's got so much to offer and he's so versatile right now that it feels like that they're building towards the storyline here of this guy can't get a win. What's going to happen to him? What are we doing? And something big is going to happen with Kushida, and I'm interested to see where that's going to go. But yeah, then we can. Yeah, what Mongoose? What did you have to say about that before we talk about the ending?
So I had that first. Kushida looks like Kodiak. That when I look at Kushida, I see my beautiful American Eskimo Kodiak. There is something that twinkles in his eyes that I haven't felt the same way since that New York Jets coach. What was his name? The one that couldn't beat Bill Belichick, or he beat Bill Belichick once. Spygate.
Is that Rex Ryan?
No, before Rex Ryan. He's the one that looks like an American Eskimo. Help me out, John.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I try to erase everything Jets since I'm a diehard Dolphins fan.
I think he was the Spygate Jets coach. He looked like Kodiak as well. But whenever I saw Kushida, man, I was like, man, I see my pup in this guy. Here's the thing is I have a good match with a kind of weird finish. The fact that Kushida did a spot to the outside and then like disappeared for the Leaning Tower, I thought was a little weird. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they showed him like taking a spill and then being gone or anything like that. Like, and so I don't know if that was meant to layer into this or whatever, but I do have written down here that Kevin Kelly notes another black eye for Kushida. Comeback story, question mark, question mark. So this goes back to what we talked about last week with the best of the new Super Junior stuff. Is I think that the groundwork's being laid, man. What do you think about the post match?
You're talking about groundwork's being laid for Kushida to go on a run to get his credibility back. Oh
yes,
yeah, no doubt.
yes,
There's
yes,
no doubt.
yes.
But is it going to be as a heel or a face? Is my question, because
Well,
that like we were saying, like that guy. I mean, you know, during that Phantasmo versus Finley match, Kevin Kelly made a really good point of saying that New Japan Pro Wrestling is not really a place where you want to be a loner that can't call for backup. And I thought that was a really good point about New Japan.
Yeah, I literally have that written down too.
So with that being said, do they put Kushida in a group, or do they give Kushida a group? I don't think he's going to be a lone wolf guy. And again, I think that you could go a lot of different ways with that.
Kushida, I hate to say it, man, because it's a trope, but if you get a like a time splitter club shirt, things gonna sell, man. Things gonna sell. You know what I mean? Like if you find a clever way to work the Back to the Future thing into the Bullet Club, and if it's going to be an army of killers, which you mentioned this before, that could actually work, dude. Especially because he can't seem to get out of his own way.
Yeah.
But I thought the angle at the end of this was awesome. With
yeah, so I did too.
With Clark Connors and help me with the guy that came out with him,
Dan Maloney.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought that the angle at the end was great, and I really like where this is going, especially because you have people that just were in the best of the Super Juniors that weren't winners of the best of Super Juniors that sort of quote unquote made a name. You're putting over your new faction or your rebranded faction better. I thought I thought match was good. I thought finish was interesting only because of Kushida's like total disappearance. And then the post match I thought was awesome. So I thought everything here was A-okay.
How great is it seeing Kevin Knight do those drop kicks on somebody else's shoulders? That's how high that guy can get off the ground, man. That's crazy.
Yep.
Love Kevin Knight.
He's a heck of an athlete, man.
Yeah, Kevin Knight. I'm looking forward to watching that guy. Hopefully for the next 20 years. And then for the next one, I didn't have much for this next match. I like both these guys a lot. You know, Jeff Cobb and Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, look, I love TMDK. You guys know that, and I've come around more on Zack Sabre Jr. and I'm really starting to enjoy his matches. But I think you made a very interesting and good point a couple weeks ago about if you're going to give me 15-minute matches with Zack Sabre Jr., I'll watch every one of them. But I'm not watching him wrestle for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's just it, dude. Is joint manipulation gets old fast. But if it's joint manipulation, the first thing I have written here, 100 or 1 million miles per hour to start, is that these guys were pedal to the metal the entire way. So if Zach wants to grab a hold and manipulate a joint or whatever, the fact that he's racing against the clock makes it more interesting. If it's him with a 60-minute time limit, he might have that arm bar for 4 minutes. And look, man, like I don't appreciate the old sport that much for me to be like, oh, I see what they're doing. Right. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think that him being in this particular realm is perfect for him, especially as far as watchability goes. I love the finish, man. I absolutely love the finish here.
That counter for the pin I thought was amazing.
And here's one thing I need you to know is that when there's a crucifix pin, a crucifix finish or a crucifix pin, I always go back to I learned the crucifix from Marty Jannetty whenever he made his comeback after he had left the Rockers and he was on his IC title run, sort of mini run there. And John Richards had come to my house one time and it was me, John Richards, another neighbor boy, and we were having us a little, shoot wrestling match. And I pinned the 3 years older than me, John Richards, with a crucifix because I learned it from Marty Jannetty. And so forever in my heart, the crucifix always holds up. But shout out to Richards Raceways. If you're ever in Elton, go ahead over there. Give them your money if they're open.
I thought you were going to shout out to Marty Jannetty. I was hoping you were trying to get a spot on Dark Side of the Ring to be included in an episode.
No, man, I'm just trying to make sure that people go to Richards Raceways, grease the pads, spin the cars around there, pay your money, whatever. But please know that the son of the owner was pinned by a crucifix in my dad's playroom when I was about 9 years old.
That's right. And people still talk about that match. That was a hell of a match.
I had that written down for years and years and years.
All right. So the next match. Look, I had a lot of anxiety over this next match because I knew there was two sets of tag team belts on the line here, and we can talk about that forever if we want to. We probably don't need to go too much into it, but Bishamon versus Great-O-Khan and Aaron Henare versus Evil, who I do not like at all, and Yujiro Takahashi, who I do not like at all. So I was very much glad that they made this a three-way. I know I've complained to the two of you over and over again the last couple of weeks about it, just feeling lazy that they were going to put both those tag team belts combined already after New Japan Strong had only been around for a little while. But I just confused. I mean, I don't know why we would unify those belts. In my opinion, they should have held a tournament for the Strong belts. But look, I'm not Gato. Whatever. He gets paid a lot of money to do what he does, so do whatever you want. But I don't really know what we see in House of Torture at this point. I'm not a fan at all, but I was really, really happy about this match, man, because it was just wall to wall action the whole way through it. It was way, way better than what I expected. Very happy with the ending of that match. I thought the right people won at the end. But I'm looking forward to what you got to say about it, because those guys everybody just went 100 miles an hour in this match, and it was pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, so I have written here, Great-O-Khan is my favorite. Kevin O'Kelly says, if Yujiro wins, I'll eat my hat, which that popped me really big. Because there was heat put on by House of Torture, and Yujiro got a couple of near falls. And so he said, if Yujiro wins, I'll eat my hat. I also have written down, I hate House of Torture and their matches. Dick Togo is so bad. And then the last thing I've written is Yujiro eats the pin match. Thank God. So basically what I have here is that I was at where you were, I had minimal to low expectations for this one, being that I know that the plans were for Aussie Open to be in this match and obviously quite possibly retain, and then roll this into a FTR match at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. And I'm sure that if they had their big board of things up, that's what it was going to be. They got dealt, a little bit of a wild card there. And so, yes, I'm completely happy with what had happened. The fact that it wasn't Evil and Yujiro is the best decision, and the match was good. So I got no complaints on my end.
Bishamon's good. Bishamon is good.
Right. No, if it's not going to be Aussie Open, Bishamon can go in there and they can beat anybody. And the thing is they can legit beat I don't know how this is going to get booked now with the main event and stuff. But let's say it's even the Young Bucks or someone like that. Bishamon can beat the Young Bucks, and it's going to be a great match, and no one's going to get mad. You know what I mean? The Young Bucks have went there and they've eaten pins for the New Japan Tag Team Championship for, years and years and years. Or, maybe it is a FTR kind of deal or whatever, or maybe you put them on FTR and then we have another switch whenever we go to Wembley, so there's a whole lot of things that can go on in between. So yeah, I'm with you, man. It'll be interesting to see where things go. The other thing that I have afterwards is BC War Dogs, whatever, with it being Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd. They made that big thing about them at the end, and what, I don't know. Maybe I don't watch enough Strong, but
That was
I
a
was
fart and
yawning.
wet. That was a wet fart in church. That's whenever I came into the
Yeah,
show, and I was just
yeah.
like,
Well,
I was
hang
yawning
on, because
whenever that was on.
Coughlin was in one of the prelims before Resurgence, and we all liked him.
Oh,
He's
I
pretty
agree
good.
with you,
He's good.
I'm saying for that to be their big thing. I was like, you know what I mean? Like I'm
They've
not
got to
saying that
make
it won't
stars.
work. What's
They've got
that?
to make stars, man. That's just who it. I mean, look at how good of a job they've done just over the last couple months with. I mean, even the past year with Yoshihashi. Look at how good of a job they've done building him and Sonata and Watto. I mean, like they've gotten pretty lucky that those people that were like lower mid card guys or mid card guys have been able to elevate, because it didn't seem like they were ever going to get to that point. But now they've got the Yoshihashis of the world are actually starting to step up and do a really good job. I think Bishamon is a top 3 or top 5 tag team in the world, man. They're pretty damn good.
What do you think of the G1 announcement?
Well, a couple things about it. So it was about what I expected. The great thing about it was I think there's 10 debuts. There's 10 to be 10 new guys in the G1, for the first time ever, which is awesome. It was really, really good to see Tonga Loa come back. He hasn't been around in a long time. I mean, having Eddie Kingston there, I think is pretty cool to get to see him, go back and forth with a lot of those guys. And the only other note I really had about that, I don't know anything about this Kiyama guy from Pro Wrestling Noah. I just don't ever have a chance to watch Noah, but everybody popped hard for that guy, man. When they announced that guy was going to be in a G1, that whole building erupted. So that guy must be pretty damn good.
Yeah, I had Kingston with an underline and exclamation point because I do not know. I don't know, man. I'm not there every day, so for me to comment on like what's going on there, I have no idea. But I feel like everything they've done with him leaving AEW and being in Ring of Honor has just been weird. And so
Very weird. It's very weird.
I feel like the G1 is a great reset spot.
Yeah.
So you almost make him like a free agent again. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So if we're going to treat AEW and Ring of Honor kind of different, the fact that if he can go to G1 and maybe make a final, which who would complain, or even go there and just have a great showing and say, I pinned Sonata, or I pinned, name guy, top guy X. I think is a really good way to reinvigorate interest in him. And so out of all the AEW guys that could have been there that I would like to have seen, I actually think that he's like a really, really good one to have there, because you can make him a guy because people already cared about him before. And now giving them more of a reason to care about him, I think is a really good idea. Also, I popped huge because Chase Owens and Yano were in there, and you were just complaining about the Best of the Super Juniors lineup. So there's two guys that are going to win 1 or 2 matches tops, that they're there to take L's, and Yano will tie ropes around people and stuff like that. So
the thing about Kingston too is that he's kind of like an Ishii in the sense that people love that guy, man. And whether or not he wins matches or loses, or he's, 50-50 booking or whatever it ends up being. Look, Eddie Kingston's not going to win the G1, but he might go 50, he might go 500 or a little over 500, and that's great. And people are going to love every match he's in.
And if he made a block final, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but if he made a block final, how good would that match be, first off? And second off, if he comes back, could you imagine him on the stick saying, I beat, listen, me and you, I beat everybody, including Yamada, including Tanahashi, and I beat, you know what I'm saying? Like just going off on the microphone about the people that he was able to overcome. I think that this is awesome. I think this is a perfect place for him to be.
Absolutely. And then Baker, did you get a chance to catch that one?
Yeah, I saw it.
You jumped in on the next one. That's right. You jumped in on that. Okay.
Yeah, I saw the announcement list. I think it's cool that, I was kind of expecting maybe somebody a bigger, another surprisier name other than Eddie Kingston on that list. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm ready to roll. We got that's coming up in it's coming up soon. So
middle of the month, middle of July. So we got about 5 weeks till the
Yeah.
G1. But look, again, I don't know much about that dude from Pro Wrestling Noah, but that place went nuts. So that might be a big breaking out party for that guy.
Yeah.
Then the next match we had El Phantasmo versus Finley. I didn't have too many notes for this. I just wrote down, I'm starting to like Finley more and more, the more that I see him, and kind of settling into that role, and it's kind of settling in my brain how they booked it to get him there. But look, I like this Bullet Club group a lot. I think everybody in there is a good fit. I'm a little concerned that they're all white guys at this point, unless we're trying to book it just to sell T-shirts in the U.S. And that's fine. If that's what you're going for, then so be it. But I do hope that we get a real break with House of Torture and with Chase Owens, because I don't want those guys in the Bullet Club.
Yeah,
they don't belong. Yeah, if you're gonna be a group of killers, they don't belong. Go ahead,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I only have 3 things that I have here about this match, other than I love El Phantasmo. And that is an honorable mention here. But the things I have here are that the New Japan tables are hilariously narrow yet stiff. Yeah. And they're just funny to look at. And then my new bit.
Jericho said, whenever I listened to the first podcast he did with Kenny after their match together, and they talked about it there, they said that the New Japan chairs are the softest, gimmickiest things you've ever dealt with, and the tables are atrocious, whereas in America, the tables are your friend and the chairs are your enemy. Yeah. So it's literally the opposite whenever you cross the Pacific Ocean.
Good to know that whenever we go to, I talk you guys into going to Wrestle Kingdom, I got to be careful where I sit.
Right.
The other thing I have here is that this is my new bit, is that it's the first time seeing somebody. It's my first time seeing Finley as a Bullet Club leader, and I do like it. And pretty much everything that you said, Andretti, already. And it was nice to see a show where there was a hot New Japan crowd, and the crowd was hot for a lot of this show, especially for the end and everything. But those were my takeaways from this match. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, Phantasmo, another guy. I mean, where are we headed with that guy? I mean, he seems like he's just a little aimless right now, and I'm sure they'll try to figure out where they're going to go with him. But I don't know. He's been cold for a little while here.
So what I have is, the first thing that I've noted is Finley legit presents himself like a star, and I give him a lot of credit for that, man, because he was a guy. And he wasn't like a nerd or a geek, but he was a guy for a long time with this audience. And he came out, his entrance, the way that he presented himself, the way that he got heat, the way that he reacted to the babyface comebacks, how he would then, put himself in front of the crowd. This dude was starish, and I give him a lot of credit for that. Like, you can't teach those things, and he's been taking notes, man, obviously, because it wasn't like it was quote unquote natural, but he knew what he was doing. I also, whenever ELP went to strike up the band, and then the Bullet Club jumped into their big time heat for that, which I thought was awesome. Back and forth was good. I had that this was a very good match. And then immediately after this, the reason that I did not finish the Dominion show the first night I watched it was because there was Bullet Club guys out there. My daughter kept saying, can we watch the Fofo Life videos? And so I ended up watching the Bullet Club Titantrons from 2016 through 2020 on a loop over and over again until she went to bed. And then I didn't have a chance to finish that until today. So shout outs to the YouTube creators that do the Bullet Club custom Titantrons, the ones where they have, the snippets and videos of all the guys doing their shtick. She got a huge pop out of it. So thank you. And I got something for you from Adam Cole and a couple of other ones. So yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah. All right. So jumping into the next match here, the match 7, Hiromu Takahashi versus Master Wato. Hiromu is the better worker. But I didn't think Wato, ever looked out of place at all during that match, man. What a ride he's been on. When you get opportunities, you got to step up, right? And I would definitely say he has definitely stepped up big time over the course of the last couple of months, especially with that Best of the Super Juniors. I mean, he really did a nice job in that tournament. But I was a little surprised they gave him the push with that. But look again, great job. And I just put down here that near fall bridge for the pin by Watto was just unbelievable. There were so many back and forth near falls with this. There were just everybody was getting hotter and hotter with the crowd. Excellent match, man. I really hope Uncle Dave gives this like a 4-star match or maybe even higher than that, because I thought these guys just tore the house down, man. I mean, look, hats off to Watto, and give Takahashi a raise, man, because that guy went in there and he just sold his ass off, worked his ass off to make Watto look really good. I probably would have went with the flip of the belt there, but I mean, they're basically establishing Takahashi as one of the greatest Super Juniors that's ever lived. And that guy, dude, or the light heavyweight or whatever you want to call it, but like that guy is just, he is so good right now with everything he does, man. And this match, I thought, just hats off to those guys, man. I thought this was a 4-star match, no doubt about it.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I have here that it feels like Takahashi's had that belt for 10 years, and every time I see a match, he's always got the belt. Anytime I watch any show, he's always got the belt. Feels like he's been carrying that thing longer than San Martino carried the belt.
Well, he had to vacate a couple times because of injuries. I think Kevin Kelly might have said that, but I know that he had to drop it a couple times because he got hurt.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Kelly, all the credit in the world. One of the sub holds that Master Watto had him in, Kevin Kelly noted that it was the shoulders and neck that he was attacking, which were both reasons why Takahashi had to vacate before. So give Kevin Kelly a medal, man. He's the best, best in the world.
Yeah, this was my first Master Watto match. And whenever my other notes here are that I wish when Watto carried him up the ramp, I wish he just would have carried him out to the parking lot, and they just kept going around, and he brought him back in. Watto, he turned into Rockabilly there whenever he had him in that submission hold. They were just rocking back and forth there for a while. That popped me. And then that near fall sequence that they had there at the end was awesome. I actually really liked this match. I went in thinking, oh god, another Takahashi match. Like, how many times are we going to see this song and dance? But I liked it. By the time it was over, I was enjoying it, and the crowd was hot too.
Here's what I had for this one. Call me crazy, but I watched this match. So Takahashi last year wins the Best of Super Juniors, faces Taiji Shimori for the Junior Heavyweight Championship at Dominion, does not win. This year, he comes in as the champion. Guy that wins the Best of Super Juniors does not win. However, when the guy that tried to beat him did not win, to me, this screamed Okada Omega 1, where Kenny did everything except hit his finish.
Okay.
It was near fall. I'm close. I'm going to do it, but I can't get, every time I'm going to hit my finish, you had Takahashi either counter out of it, or there was something that got in the way, and then you were a couple of time bombs too late. And that was the entire story of the first Omega Okada match. So to me, this says that Master Watto is that dude, and it's just later on. So this isn't one. This is going to be one of 2 or 3. And I don't have a problem with that, man. I think that all 3 of them will be great. I'll tell you what, Andretti, you said 4 stars. To me, the thing that I've written down is this is 4.5 plus. I would not be surprised.
I don't want to get too crazy, but I think if it was me grading it, it would be 4.5.
I would not be surprised if this is 4.5 or 4.75. It's not a 5-star, but this was great. This was great, especially because they wove in Takahashi's previous injuries. You have the story of Master Wato is so close so many times and he doesn't do it. So I thought this was awesome. Magistry.
Sure. Okay, then that jumps just right into the 6-man shooter, Moxley, Claudio versus Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii. First thing I wrote down for this, I mean, how awesome is Moxley's entrance package in New Japan, man? It's so much fun to him at the bar carving the hourglass into the table is really, really great. Okada, man, I mean, he just feels so big and so special with all of his presentation. I mean, it's really great to be alive whenever that guy's on top of his game, man. But I mean, look, this is the second time in a row now that we've seen Umino work heel in a 6-man. And look, if that's the case, dude, then get out of the Miami Vice gear, get him in the Combat Club. If you're going to go after Okada, then let's go after Okada, because I don't want to see Umino as a babyface every time he's not with the Combat Club. Either be a heel or be in the group, or don't be in the group. So that was the thing I wrote down about him. But I thought that Moxley killed Ishii on that clothesline, man. I thought he tore his head right off his body. That was really crazy. And I don't know. Again, I don't know why Moxley's bleeding in a match, why we need to keep doing that. I mean, you got nothing to prove here, man. I don't know why you're still doing that, but that the Castagnoli Okada big spin was just unbelievable to get to see that. I think I stood up and clapped whenever they did that. But in terms of the actual match stuff, that's what I wrote down for the match.
But the Moxley blood was completely appropriate because he got legitimately headbutted by Ishii. And so to me, I was like, if something would have happened, he fell down and gigged, whatever. But the fact that Ishii laid his coconut right into his skull, to me, that was Jon Moxley.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so it was right off a headbutt. I thought that it fit perfectly well. There was the one thing, to not parrot everything you said. What I loved about this was that there was the Shield 3-person power bomb that was a near fall, and then they did the avalanche, like DDT or whatever it was, with the other group, with the babyface group, all together, where they sort of echoed one another. I thought that those were clever little spots. What I really, really liked about this was that everybody got a chance to shine, and nobody would be surprised if we got a singles match between any of the 6 people that were in this match. I thought that it was laid out perfectly. The Moxley and Ishii stuff was my favorite. The Moxley and Okada stuff was great, but the Shooter and Okada stuff was the most interesting, because those guys are in the same promotion together. And the fact that they are just showing Shooter as literally having this Owen Hartish little brother bad blood, I thought was awesome. And so I'm with you, man. Turn him. Like just turn him. Have him wear black and have him just be if you want to be an anti-hero or whatever, be it. But yet now's the time.
I had that I'm finally seeing an Umino match that at least I can remember. I thought that, Tanahashi hit the ropes, and then the way he ran to the ropes was like Cody walking away at that Backlash because his legs are so stiff.
Dude, every Tanahashi sling blade looked like the way that I would give one of you guys a sling blade.
Yeah, like just,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like
all the athleticity in his body is gone.
Yep.
I love that guy so much.
I thought that the table throws were awesome by Umino. And I thought it was really great tag team work for the finish. I thought that they all put it all together, and all 3 had a part in the final move for the pin, which I liked a lot.
Sure.
That's the best thing about New Japan finishes, which leads right into the main event, is that typically when you're in a big match, you don't win a match with a stolen move. You win a match with a series of moves. And so they won that match with a series of moves. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly where the Sonata beat Yoda, please help me again.
Suji.
Suji, thank you.
Suji.
That's the way that he beat him at the end, man, is that he needed to string together 3 moves or it wasn't going to happen. So
then the end of that match, man. I mean, how excited are you to see this match coming up, dude?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It's a dream match. It's a dream match, man. Both these guys are just top 5 in the world.
The only thing that breaks my heart about it is that I was hoping we were going to get all of them in a hardcore match. But if we sacrifice that to get Danielson, Okada, whatever, worth it.
I mean, that's worth the price of admissions right there, dude. That match, that I wrote down that match has got a chance to be match of the year.
Well, we have Danielson, Okada, and then we have Omega Ospreay 2 on the same show.
Yeah.
So already this is the best show of the year. And it hasn't happened yet.
And that's coming up quick, man. I mean, we're recording this on the 6th. That pay-per-view is the 25th, and I'm already freaking climbing the walls waiting to see it. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that show's gonna be awesome.
Okay, so then the last match here, the main event, IWGP champion Sanada versus Yota Tsuji. And like we said earlier, man, like I remember this guy as a young lion, but to be completely honest with you, like I haven't seen him work in probably 3, 4, maybe 5 years. I mean, I forgot this guy even existed. And I know he went on excursion and he did all his thing and grew his character and all that on excursion. But man, I can't remember. I can't even remember the last time I saw him, but I know it was in the black trunks, in the black boots when he was a young lion. But the other thing I had about just the beginning of the match, I sound like a broken record here with this, but man, that belt sucks. That belt looks like shit, dude. I mean, for this being, in my opinion, the number 1 promotion in the world when they're on their game, they are the best promotion in the world, and that belt looks like shit. And that really breaks my heart every time they come out there with that.
Yeah, my only takeaway for this and I absolutely agree, that belt sucks. It doesn't look good. They need to bring the old one back. But yeah, to say about Tsuji, I don't think I've ever seen this guy before. I don't even remember seeing him as a young lion. But call me crazy, but I thought he should have won the match.
I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, we're going to get into that, but I mean, is his nickname is Gene Blast. Is that the best nickname you've ever heard in your life? Gene Blast.
It's pretty great.
I mean, listen, man, same as John said, and you before, didn't know this guy, didn't recognize this guy. I knew that they shot an angle at one of the recent shows, heard the name, didn't ring a bell. This dude was awesome. And not only was he awesome, he comes in there, man, and he's built you know what I had written down? So I wasn't able to take notes because my kid kept saying, Dad. I played rock, paper, scissors 75 times during this match. So I didn't have a chance to write a lot of things down. But the one thing that I had written down was say that this is Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley with better athletes.
Yeah.
So like the way that they booked the 5-minute Brock versus Bobby Lashley match where it's big move, finish. This was it, except it's with way better athletes, meaning that they could do things like Spanish flies, moonsault, stuff like that. And it didn't need to be 5 minutes. It was able to be 20-ish minutes with 17 minutes, whatever that might have been. And I literally felt like I was watching one of those Lesnar pay-per-view matches where it was just any of these could be the finish. And I was blown away at that. I thought that both of these guys showed the entire way out. The fact you started the match with Yota Tsuji doing the spear
into the leapfrog. Oh yeah, into that leapfrog, dude.
Catching Sanada right away, and then later on he goes for the spear, and Sanada hits him with a drop kick. Like that's layering. That's really important, man. To be like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once. You know what I'm saying? Like that you have a champion that's learning from these things. The fact that Yoda Tsuji, the first time Sonata went for the Shining Wizard, threw up and he blocked the Shining Wizard. Nobody in pro wrestling today blocks the Shining Wizard, and he did. And I thought that was really important. And then most importantly was the fact that Kevin Kelly and them, who are the most versed and well-researched wrestling, quote unquote, wrestling broadcasters that you have today, are like, every time that Yoda Tsuji puts his arm around his neck, we don't know what he's going to do. I thought it was a really, really fun layer to this, because I didn't know what he was going to do then, because every time it was a different move, and there was that sequence of big move, big move, big move that he hit where you thought he was going to beat Sonata. Sonata kicks out, and then Sonata hit his, foray or, barrage of finishers, and then beat him at the end. I thought this was awesome. Absolutely awesome, man. Like, this was awesome. If I didn't see the match before this would have been my favorite match of the night. This was my second favorite match of the night, only because the one previous was so good with such upper echelon talent. But this was great.
I thought for sure they were taking that belt off of Sonata, dude. And I've really come around to him the last couple months, especially with him with his championship run. I love him as champion. I really, really like Sonata right now, and I was worried that they were going to take that belt off him so quick already. But obviously, we're setting up Naito and Tsuji, and I like that a lot. But look, that dude looks like a freaking superstar. Tsuji looks like a freaking superstar, dude.
And the way you make a superstar is the way you just said, and I totally agree with the booking here. Was he didn't beat him now. Naito said, screw you, you couldn't do my bidding. Let him beat Naito. Yeah. And then let's see what happens. Is he still over if he beats Naito? Because if he is,
dude, that guy was
go with him.
Over. He was really over with that crowd, and nobody's seen him work there in 5 years. So I mean, that was crazy that people were popping for Tsuji so much during that match.
Yep. Which lends credence to what we had said before, was we know what you're doing by continuously going with Okada versus Jay White, but please do something different. That obviously, that's the sentiment of the people that are there too. If you're going to go that crazy for this main event, which is such a quote unquote nothing mid event, they're ready too, dude. So I think that this is all very good.
Sure. Baker, you got anything else on that match at the end of the main event?
No, I just thought that it was that they should have done a title switch, and that's all. That's all I got, really.
I think it's coming, man. But look, to wrap all this up, man, that show I thought was excellent. That was an excellent, excellent show that they put on for 4.5 hours. I was never bored once. I loved every second of it. And look, the direction of where they're going with these new faces and creating new factions and adding people and that, dude, I think this is going to be awesome. They're going in the right direction, man. I really think they are.
Yeah. It's awesome. I thought it was great, and yeah,